Hi, this is the Hollywood Makers podcast, and this is a podcast that is coming from Cuéntame Network. We started in 2019 with the podcast in Spanish and then the podcast in English, Multiculturalism in Film and TV, talking with filmmakers, interviewing filmmakers and emerging creatives in the Hollywood industry, which is actually the media and entertainment industry around the world. So this podcast is a new podcast and I have a new host. It's a relaunch of that same podcast. I have a new host, my dear friend Claudia Cano, that she's gonna pronounce her last name. So hi Claudia, how are you?
Hi. So Claudia Cano, for people who don't know, my last name is also Claudia Cano-Asbjornsen. It's because I'm married to a Norwegian guy, so the last name is Norwegian. But a lot of people have trouble pronouncing it because it's a long last name. But Claudia Cano-Asbjornsen. And people who know me love me like Rosie, call me Claudia. So it's fine.
Yeah, Claudita. And Claudita is here because first, she's a great professional. That's the main thing. As I remember, and we know our kids because we've been friends for a long time. We met in Miami, although we are from the same country, Honduras. Very proud also. So we know each other for a long time. And I remember she's my daughter, some people, when she used to work in my company, asked me if, it's because she's your daughter. And no, when she worked in my company, it's because she's a great professional. The same with Claudita. Claudita is here. She's one of my dear friends, but she's one of the greatest producers that I know. She's a great producer. She works here in La Ciudad de Angelitos, and she works as a director, writer, and producer in media. And that's why she's here. She's a co-host, and she's going to bring some other surprises later on. But right now, today, we're going to talk about the relaunch of this podcast and how it came about. Do you remember, Claudita, you want to share with the audience how this name, the Hollywood Makers, came up?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you. I really appreciate all the flowers. You are one of the best producers I know myself, so thank you for saying that. That means a lot to me. Mm-hmm. I'm very proud, very excited to be part of the Hollywood Makers relaunch. And so now the Hollywood Makers comes as an idea that we had where we were brainstorming. We were thinking about what we want to give the audience with this podcast and this information. And it's basically the people that make Hollywood, not just the people that are in front of the camera, but the people that are behind the camera, and get inside information from them to help those who are starting in media and entertainment, because everything is changing so much. The landscape is changing so much, and it will continue to evolve with all the new technology. So we wanted to have a platform where we will be able to help people connect and learn and maybe get inside information of success stories, right? While we talk to experts, get them to tell their stories. So Hollywood Makers is people who make Hollywood, not just in front or behind the cameras, and the people like our audience, hopefully, that are making Hollywood right now. So I am a TV producer for many years. I started my career many years ago in Florida. I started in Telemundo. That's where Rosie and I met. And now I work here in California, in Los Angeles, as a producer and director for commercials for a very big cable company. And I do that, and I also write. So we both have a lot of background in television and film, which now it's content creation in general. It's not just one media. We are content creators. So we're trying to bring that to the forefront to help other content creators get their work across and their stories told, specifically if they come from different cultures and women. So we want to highlight all that. So Hollywood Makers, long story, was an idea out of love that we both came up with because we want to help those who are making Hollywood make it even bigger, brighter, better.
Exactly. And it's precisely to uncover that essence of the Hollywood, what's going on in Hollywood, what's happening in Hollywood. I think I mentioned it before in other episodes from Cuéntame Network, that people come to LA looking to accomplish that dream. It's the California dreaming, right? And it's not people who cross the border only, or people who are coming from other countries. It's also people from Iowa, from the Midwest, all these young people that come with their screenplay or script for a movie, and they want to be writers and directors. So this is to uncover that essence, that evolution. Mostly that's really my focus here, and why I wanted to say, okay, I have been interviewing with Carly, was first one of the hosts, and we have been interviewing executives. I've interviewed a couple of executives in the media, but also filmmakers, new filmmakers. And I remember we had a partnership with one organization, and we interviewed new filmmakers. But right now we're gonna keep interviewing and giving opportunities for people to say, I'm doing this and I'm doing it this way. There are all these things happening in Hollywood with the strikes, obviously, that I completely support as a producer. We are the makers, as I said, but I also know all the different things that has been happening with the people that are in sales, trying to keep up, maybe also with what AI, artificial intelligence, is doing, and many other things. So all of that we're going to have here with experts, with specific experts talking, that have been and keep studying about all these things. We're going to bring those experts talking about the evolution of the media and entertainment industry. That's one of the main things. The second thing, as Claudita mentioned, is the support to you, the maker. Because for me, for us, you are the makers. That's when Claudita said, multiculturalism in film and TV, let's change it. And we were brainstorming names to the Hollywood makers. And if you look for the Hollywood makers, is who made Hollywood, who are the producers, we're producers, and you can be a producer too. That for me, if you by now are not the CEO of your own career, if you will, or your profession, and no career, like someone told me, if you're not the CEO of your own thing, whether you are an employee in a big company, small company, so that you have to really come here, listen to what we're going to be sharing, because we want to form a community of Hollywood makers movement. Right, Claudita?
Yeah, the idea will be to give them tools that sometimes we think that there's so many limitations to what we can do, but the media and the streaming coming into the new era has changed everything, and the idea of being able to distribute content is completely different. So we are able to do things that we were not able to do before, because Hollywood had a gateway many years ago where only a few were able to enter, and that has changed so much in the past few years, and it's going to continue to change. And so we're going to empower the audience. If you have a dream to make it in Hollywood, or you have a dream to tell your story, there's ways that you can go about it that were not conventional, that are new ways, and you can still become a producer or a storyteller or a creator. And like you said, become the CEO of your own destiny.
Exactly. And in those industry insights that we're going to be talking, we're going to be having interviews with these people, experts. Again, that's what I love to do. That's one of my passion, to be the messenger and bring these experts. But right now, we're going to go back to more of what the content is going to be about. But right now, I want to talk a little about our careers, especially if you've been continuing, and know me a little from Dale Cuéntame, or a lot, hopefully, and you subscribe to this one, which is a different podcast. But Claudita, I want to speak about Claudita. Claudita, I'm gonna say what we already said. She's a producer. She is a great producer, and she directs and she writes. And I met her, oh my God, a few years ago. We're not gonna say when. We're not gonna put days. No, because I really age is a number, and not just that, but and I love to combine that experience, as I always say. And I think one of the things that we have in common, besides being from Honduras, women producers, and we lived in Miami, had our kids in Miami, and then came to California and living and raised our kids in California. And now Claudita, she has 3 girls, and the last one is going to college right now. So we had that, and I had
Yeah.
one that was a multiple of 8. But I love my daughter, and she's between millennial and obviously and Gen Z, and so we've been raising this new generation that are also these creatives that are navigating this world. But again, Claudita is so great. I remember working with her in Telemundo, as she say. I wasn't sure if it was Telemundo Univision, but it was in Telemundo, and she, again, and people respect her because of the way, not just her work, but the way she is. And she, handles herself. She's really great. And she's been working in LA and here in the media for a lot of years. And again, she's really great, and she's gonna bring us a lot of things with other programs. One of the things that I didn't remember is that Claudita had interviewed people in Hollywood. Claudita used to come, even when she was in Miami, to the Oscars and to all these ceremonies, and interview the people in the movies, and singers and directors. So and I didn't remember that because we're friends. So tell us about that, Claudita.
Well, so yes, I started as a producer many years ago, as an intern actually, in news back in Telemundo, and my career in television was created basically in Telemundo, and then I started into diving from Telemundo into the film aspect of it all. Through interviews. So I have had the fortune of meeting a lot of celebrities, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. I've interviewed many important directors and producers. I've interviewed a lot of important celebrities, a lot of fun interviews that I've had. I've had that fortune. And yes, I am a mother of 3. All my girls are in college now. Incredibly, I can say that out loud. My little one is actually on her way to Berkeley in the next few weeks, which is a very important triumph as a parent to see your children succeed. So I'm very happy. I have 3 very independent, very smart women that I'm raising, and they're raising me because I'm learning so much from them as well. But yeah, my career in television spans for a few years. I'm not going to say that how many, but it's been a while, and I love it. I love content creation. I became now, when I moved to LA, I added director to my roster because now I am directing my own content for commercials. And I'm also doing my own casting, and I'm doing my own writing for commercials. So it's a very interesting career because we have the opportunity to dive into different things. And I think that the way that I call myself now is not just producer, director, writer. I think I'm a content creator. I'm a storyteller. And there's just so many different ways that you can tell stories and create content. And with social media and the streaming and everything, that's one of the things that is so interesting about this new scape that we're working in. We have so many opportunities. We just have to find out how to get to them, or who to talk to, or where to start. And hopefully the Hollywood makers will be that platform for people, because we might have contacts that will be able to give you information. Those interviews are going to be important to provide the newcomers or the old people who didn't know how to go about certain things, or how to get to certain venues or paths that maybe were closed before. Now there's so much more out there. So hopefully we'll be that for the people that listen to us and hear us, the people that can guide you a little bit and maybe give you some information that can help you get into the path that you want to be in. But yeah, so I've had a very fortunate career so far, and I'm very happy that I've gotten to interview all those people that you might have seen already there. So I have a little bit of experience, I think.
And she's so passionate about movies that there's no movie. I mean, I had to admit that I sometimes wait for them to come to streaming. But Claudita, I think she obviously has seen Barbie, Oppenheimer, and all the new movies. And now when you're listening to this, maybe it's not going to be the new one, but she goes with all her kids. But she is an expert and so again, she's going to have, as you have seen, she's done interviews, and she's going to do some other amazing things that we really want you to be here and as she said, not only see all these stars, people that have been doing all these movies, like the ones that she has interviewed, and all these people that we know as the A-list stars, but also, you and me, like she said, we know we've been, like me, I became a director when I had to direct one of my documentaries, but I um I love being a producer, by the way. And it's very strange because people don't understand. I always say that not even my mom knows what a producer do, but does. But anyway, I love that part, and I love the creation. I love the editing of scripts and everything. But again, she's passionate about movies, and she's always been, and so she's the expert in that sense. But we want, like she said, to give you tools. That's the most important thing. Besides bringing you experts talking about the evolution of the industry, doesn't mean what the pandemic provoke in all the technology, these new tech companies that started to do all this, like, no, it wasn't only Zoom that you may think that, oh, Zoom. No, a lot of companies did a lot of new technology innovations that are in the industry, that are moving. There's no anymore these same gatekeepers, these four studios, or like the four mainstream television media and the two Hispanic networks. And no, that's not bad. And see how these networks, and we're going to talk the studios in English, they had to let go a lot of people recently. And we're talking about Disney and WB, Warner Brothers and Discovery, and a lot of people, thousands of people. So we're not talking just about the strikes and the actors and the writers. We're talking about what the studio had to go through, and just saying this, not that I'm defending. Again, I'm going to repeat, I support us, I support the creators. But what I'm saying is, let's keep up with technology. Let's listen to what you're going to listen here in the Hollywood makers, because there are new Hollywood makers, and there's a new Hollywood. And the new Hollywood is that we want you to be part of our community and support each other. So we do great partnerships and do great things. And again, great partnership. What do you think about that, Claudita?
So yeah, I think it's awesome that I love the fact that podcasts exist, because that's just another media where people can access information. There's YouTube, there are so many other channels and streaming and content, and there's so much where we can put our stories out there, and there's so much to be said and told, and we just had to find the right media for ourselves, right? Who are we? What do we want to say? What do we want to do? Do we want to be in front of the camera? Do we want to be behind? What is it? What does it mean being behind the camera? Who are the people behind the camera? A lot of people don't understand Hollywood. With the strikes, for example, right now, people don't understand the impact that it's having, not on the people that you see in front of the camera all the time, but also the people that are behind. There's all these people that are not able to work and sustain their families because, the people in front of the cameras are fighting for rights that are very clearly defined, that they need those rights for them. So I think that we are going to be a platform where people can listen to sides, and we might differ in opinions at times, but that's where the important information comes in, where like the nice dialogues comes in, where you learn, right? When you differ opinions and you learn from other people. So hopefully we'll bring that. And talking about the film, yes, I am a film fanatic. I love film. I love movies. I will watch movies when I'm sad or when I'm happy. Anytime, movies are my to-go drug. And so we want to promote that. And hopefully in the next few months, we'll have other good news about a new podcast that we're also working behind the scenes with Rosie for the film lovers and the movie lovers and the show and series lovers. So all that content is going to come in another format to you guys. And I want to take this opportunity to promote, because I want to give all props to a new movie that's coming out. You were talking about Oppenheimer, but there's a new movie that's coming out that unfortunately is not getting a lot of promotion, because obviously the actors and writers are on strike, so they can't promote the movie. But there's a new movie called Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle is a DC movie that's starting with a very Latino and Hispanic cast. And I have the fortune of knowing a couple of those people. Adriana Barraza, who plays the grandmother, is a very dear friend of mine, and she is La Maestra. That's what we used to call her. And in this movie, it's already, the critics are loving it because it touches upon the culture in a way that Latinos haven't been talked about in superhero movies. So if you don't know what the Blue Beetle is, like the comparison would be in the DC universe, the Blue Beetle is kind of like Spider-Man is for the Marvel universe. So go see it. Go support the movies that give opportunity to multicultural casts, that it give opportunity to other stories to be told, not just from one side, but from all sides. So that's a movie that I recommend that you go see, just to support talent that's coming up and support Latino cast and Latino producers. So do that.
See, she is an expert, and an expert on this, and she already mentioned, and you'll see soon how she can bring all of this, sharing all of the things about specific movies and shows and series, which I know you're a film lover, you're also a series lover. I love, also, I think, and I've gone through different things that I like you, and hopefully, and we're like, I believe, because we've raised also millennials and Gen Z, we really understand that word a lot, right? So, yes, this connection, this intergenerational collaboration for me is really important. And like Claudita said, we are storytellers, basically. And there are a lot of people, hello, on Facebook and Instagram, you can do all of those things. Create your project, be the CEO of your project. What I like really to do and focus maybe is, again, I'm a producer and I'm passionate about how I just have divided the podcast, and I did 2 in Spanish. This one is going to be in English, and I brought Claudita as a co-host now, then she's going to have other things. And I'm a producer, and I really love and see who is the one that has to be here for you to listen to the best information that is going to help you. Now, the future of storytelling, like Claudita was saying, we're all storytellers, and that's what we love. It's different from what it has been, what people working in the networks or I don't know, the studios even. It's different, and we're not talking about a few dollars in creation. We're talking about millions, and we're talking about losses of trillions. So let's just keep in touch here, and we'll tell you all about it, and bring experts again to tell you about that. And we'll have Claudita sharing beautiful things about movies and all of that, and another project. But this is what the Hollywood Makers is all about. We just wanted to talk about like 10 minutes in the first episode, which is double now, but this is what really the Hollywood Makers is about. As you can see, I love Claudita, and one of the things that I'm very proud is that we are both from the same country. We're from Honduras. If you also are from other country and you speak 2 languages, that's a plus, right? We all have superpowers. But again, this is the Hollywood Makers. We are not just relaunching, but introducing also our great host, Claudia Cano-Asbjornsen.
Asbjornsen.
Pronounce it.
No, close enough. Asbjornsen. Close enough.
Yeah, that's her last name, and you can go and follow Claudita again, Claudia Cano. You'll find her like that, and then follow us. And I don't like to say follow us. Make a community and send questions and just join us and form a community in the Hollywood Makers. You go in Cuéntame.com, and you can find the pages of our different podcasts, but especially if you go to social media, you'll find the Hollywood Makers. Claudita, thank you so much for having been here, not just in the first episode, for being our special guest always.
Oh, for sure. And I'm looking forward to hearing what the audience has to say. If they have questions, we're here to hopefully help you answer them. If you have things that you want to learn about, we'll try to bring that information to the forefront so that you learn as we learn too, because we don't know everything. So it's always a learning process for us as well. We're trying to grow ourselves, and we're trying to help other people grow as we grow. So we're looking forward to this amazing podcast. And I am so honored and proud to be your friend, and so honored that you called me to be a part of this, because I love the idea. I love the idea of producing. We love being producers. So that energy, we hope that you catch onto that energy and that ambition to continue to tell stories, and hopefully we'll create a great community.
Exactly. So, to all of you, remember, join us in the Hollywood Makers and send questions to Spotify where we can answer. And you can even nominate any expert about the content that we just shared with you. So, if you're ready to make history, and then you should tune into the Hollywood Makers and be part of the transformation. Be part of the transformation. Be a Hollywood maker. Bye bye.
Yes.